All right, here we are. What's your name? Kevin Prince.
Yeah.
Reminding UCLA fans who he is once more going into fall camp. You're healthy, 100% healthy, which is something. When's the last time you just felt 100% healthy?
Oh, I feel like, going into last season, or last fall camp, I should say, I felt good. Obviously 3 days in, I tore my oblique, so that was, it diminished pretty quick. But going into last fall camp, I felt good. But since day 3 of fall camp last year, I haven't felt very good.
It's about a year.
Yeah, so it's been about a year. But I feel great right now. I'm sure Coach Newhouse told you that I'm 100%.
Yeah.
I've been fully cleared, done everything in the summer that I can, and just prepared myself to be able to go through this fall camp and be fully healthy the whole time.
Kevin, you've had a number of injuries, and you've also had a number of nicks. Just little things.
Yeah.
How serious that oblique injury was, who knows? But it kept you out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult is it to not only deal with big major deals, but also those just nagging things that maybe keep you from being 100% or playing 100%?
Well, the nagging things, the tough part about those are, with the oblique, it kept me out of fall camp for basically the whole time.
Yeah.
So I was going into that Kansas State game with basically a week of preparation, where I could have had 3 and, missed double days, missed all that. So it's not so much the physical aspect that it really hurt, it's more the mental and just getting reps and feeling comfortable with the offense. So I think that's what, with those nagging ones that keep you out of practice, that's really the downfall of them, is just you don't get the reps and you can't really feel comfortable with everything.
Going into this fall camp, Coach Newhouse said you're starting with the ones. You have the chance to solidify things, and yet it is a pretty open competition, Coach says. Do you sort of feel like you're fending Richard off, or do you feel like you have to retake the position?
If I felt like I was fending Richard off, I guess that would be like I already have the spot. So I don't feel that way necessarily. I just feel like I got to go out there and prove myself. I'm not really worried about what Richard's going to be doing or what Brett's going to be doing when he's out there. I'm just worried about being me and being a great leader, making the best decisions I can, and being accurate with the football. And so, after that, if I do my best, and that's not enough to start, then so be it. But I'm going to be doing everything I can to be my best out there and get that starting job.
Kevin, we've talked about the idea of rhythm and just momentum and swagger and all that kind of stuff so many times before, and reflecting on last season, it's hard to remember when that team had that click, that Peyton Manning Indianapolis Colts just marched down the field kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
How important is it for you, especially early in camp, to start feeling that, to start getting, we are moving the field no matter what play we call, no matter how we're doing it?
It's important. We had it a little bit. We had it
Texas.
At the end of that Kansas State game, we marched down the field 2 plays and scored. And we did it in Houston, marched right down the field a couple times on them and scored. And Texas, we did it. Obviously though, there's those games that the Cal game, the Stanford game, that we didn't have it at all, and those are the ones that really hurt. So it's important to be consistent in that sense and being able to execute on a consistent basis, because it really does keep your confidence level up, and it makes you feel like you could perform, like you said, with anything that's called.
Kevin, was this a 4-8 team last year?
It was, we had a slew of injuries that didn't help at all, but there's no way that it's a 4-8 team. We have way too much talent to be 4-8, and it's, you can mark that injury thing as an excuse, which it is, but we're just focused on being healthy this year, and there's no chance that this is a 4-8 team. There's no way we go 4-8 this year.
Yeah. You look at the experience that you have at key positions. You and Richard with 4 and 3 years in the program. You have Jonathan and Derek 4 and 3. I think both 4 years in the program. All that kind of stuff. Wide receiver loaded on. How important is it just not to just find guys who are old? Not just to find guys who are experienced, but guys who are going to do the job, in addition to being experienced.
Yeah, well, I think all those guys you listed, they've all shown that they can do the job, which is huge. They have experience. It's not like they're 4 years in the program and haven't played yet.
Yeah.
Those are all guys who have played multiple games, so many snaps, and so that's huge for us, just to be able to get guys out there who have been there and have that experience and have that confidence that they can get things done. It definitely helps as a quarterback to be able to be sitting there looking out at Nelson and Taylor and having Jonathan, in the backfield, and knowing that they're going to be there to be able to make plays.
Kevin, take me back to the Kansas State game. I want to say it was the first 2 throws were to Morrell, and both drops. and kind of set the tone. Just, what was that? It's almost like, how does that kind of thing happen? When you think about those key instances where things didn't work last year, do you have faith that you guys have the right people in the right spots to not have those again, or is it about handling those falters or handling those failures better as a team?
I think it's both. We got to be able to respond to adversity better, and we had a team meeting last night, and Coach Newhouse talked about that. Just being able to, there was definitely some instances where you're just watching film of us last year where you can see, just the demeanor of the offense change after something bad happened.
Yep.
And, even if it's not the end of the world, even if we're still only down by a touchdown, you can see that demeanor change. And so that's something that we're gonna have to work on, in the fall camp when, if something's not going well, if we're not having a good day, just to be able to respond.
Is that on you or is that on all 11?
I mean, as a quarterback, it's going to be on me. It's definitely, I can't, control everybody, but and how they're feeling at all times. But I'm definitely going to have to be that voice in the huddle to be able to pick people up. And I feel like I got some help, with Corey Harkey and Jonathan Franklin, Kaimahava. So we got guys at kind of every position to help out in that sense.
I know you're a Brett Favre guy, and one of the key things about Brett Favre is he could throw an interception and still have a smile on his face. He just looked like he didn't care. Like, it happens. How is that kind of attitude? Does that need to trickle down? Do you think it needs to, like you said, it starts with you, but the other guys have to believe that too. They have to catch on to that too, right?
Yeah, and going back to another quarterback who did that was Drew Olson back in the day.
Yeah.
I was talking to Pat Cowan a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me that when they went to the Sun Bowl against Northwestern, I believe Drew Olson threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter. He had thrown 3 all year before that, and he just had a smile on his face and knew that they were going to come back. And I think that's the demeanor that you have to have as a quarterback, is just to be able to forget about what happened and just to move on to the next play. And that's something that Coach Chow always preached and was great about, and that's something I take from him, is just to be able to move on and to forget about what happened in the past and just to continue going forward and do your best.
Can you do that with the whole season?
Yeah, I mean that's
need to.
Yeah, that's what we need to be doing.
All right, good stuff. Kevin Prince, gonna remember that name.
Yeah.
UCLA quarterback.